Ever heard of a ghost like writing the rule book for a financial revolution? That's Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. Well, kinda, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Vanished, just gone, but their creation, still shaking things up big time.
Oh, yeah.
We're not on a whodunit chase today, though. We're going deeper. Trying to understand why the choices behind Bitcoin, they matter more than ever.
Right.
Even if Nakamoto's true identity, well, remains a secret.
It's interesting.
Yeah, right.
What's intriguing is that Nakamoto, individual or group, they didn't just introduce like a technology. They planted the seeds of a concept that's more and more relevant today.
Yeah.
You know? And that's decentralization.
Okay, so let's unpack that. For those maybe newer to the crypto scene, what does decentralization actually mean, like in this context?
Imagine a network where no single entity, like say a bank or a government, holds all the power.
Okay, yeah.
That's decentralization, like in essence. With Bitcoin, it's about distributing control.
Yeah.
Making it incredibly difficult for any one party to like manipulate the system.
Our sources, they paint a really vivid picture of why this mattered so much back when Bitcoin, when it first emerged, 2008, the financial crisis, it's in full swing, right? Trust in institutions has just hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And then almost like an act of defiance, Bitcoin appears.
It's true.
Even more intriguing is this message. It's embedded in Bitcoin's very first block, and it reads, "The Times, 03, Jan 2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks."
Yeah, that Genesis block message, it's crucial. It wasn't just a timestamp.
Right.
It was a statement, a direct response to the anxieties of that moment. People were losing faith in centralized systems, and Bitcoin offered an alternative.
It's like saying we're not waiting for a broken system to fix itself. We're building a new one.
Exactly. And the way Bitcoin is structured, it reflects that.
Yeah.
Instead of transactions being verified by, say, a central bank, they're verified by this distributed network of computers.
Yeah.
Making it far more resilient to manipulation or control.
So this wasn't just about a new type of money. It was about like a new way of thinking about power, ownership, control.
Precisely. It was a challenge.
Yeah.
A direct challenge to the status quo.
Yeah.
And that challenge, well, continues to resonate today.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. And speaking of challenging the status quo,
Yeah.
let's talk about the mystery surrounding Satoshi's identity.
Okay.
I mean, in a world, everyone's obsessed with knowing everything about everybody, right?
Right.
This anonymity, it almost feels like a deliberate act of rebellion.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the digital age, we leave these trails of data like everywhere we go, and yet the person or people that create a system designed to give individuals more control over their information chooses to remain, completely anonymous.
Right. You'd think they'd want to be like, on the cover of every magazine.
Right.
One of our sources made this really interesting point about data harvesting, and it's like the norm now.
Yeah.
It got me thinking, with all the privacy concerns that are swirling around, like social media and big tech, Nakamoto's anonymity, it feels incredibly relevant now.
Absolutely. It goes beyond just like wanting privacy.
Yeah.
It's about ensuring that Bitcoin itself remains free from any single person's influence or control.
So it's about protecting the ideology, the core principles, as much as anything else.
Exactly.
Okay.
Imagine if the founder of, say, a really powerful social media platform just stayed anonymous.
Yeah.
It would fundamentally change how we view that platform, right?
Right.
We'd be forced to focus on its functionality.
Right.
Its potential benefits and risks, rather than like the personality or agenda of its creator.
That makes a lot of sense. It kind of reminds me of what happened when the leader of this major open source project I was involved in, they unexpectedly stepped down.
Okay.
There was this initial panic, but then the community, they really came together. We had to figure it out, how to keep things moving forward, collectively.
And that's a key point.
Yeah.
By removing themselves, Nakamoto ensured that Bitcoin wouldn't become reliant on one central figure.
Right.
Even one with, good intentions.
Right.
The community had to and continues to take ownership of its development and direction.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the leader stepping down, because one of the most, puzzling things about Satoshi Nakamoto is the timing of their disappearance.
Yeah.
They didn't just create Bitcoin and vanish, right?
Right.
They were actively involved, especially in its early development. But then right as it starts gaining traction, boom, gone.
Yeah.
It's like walking away from a rocket ship just as it's about to blast off.
It seems counterintuitive.
Right.
But again, if we view it through the lens of decentralization,
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Staying on as the leader, no matter how well-intentioned, it would have contradicted the very essence of what Bitcoin was trying to achieve.
So by walking away, they actually allowed the space to grow more organically.
Exactly. It's like in the open source software movement, projects often thrive when the community takes ownership,
Right.
not just the original creator, like calling all the shots.
Yeah.
It's about fostering collaboration
Right.
and shared responsibility.
Okay, so we've dug into the history, the philosophy, the mystery, but this is the deep dive, right?
Yeah,
And I need that aha moment. In 2024, with everything else going on, why does this decades-old story even matter? What's the key takeaway here for our listeners?
Nakamoto's choices are even more relevant today.
Okay.
Think about it, like increasing surveillance, right? Data breaches, corporations and governments, they want more control over our digital lives.
Yeah.
This whole idea of decentralized systems where power is distributed and individuals have more control over their data and finances. It's not just this like techie pipe dream anymore.
It's becoming a necessity.
Exactly. And we're seeing it play out.
Right.
You know, the rise of decentralized finance
Right.
or DeFi, where people can lend, borrow, and earn interest without a traditional bank.
Yeah.
Privacy-focused technologies that give us more control over our data. These are all echoes of Nakamoto's vision, even if they take on different forms.
So it's like Nakamoto provided like this blueprint for a future where we're less reliant on these centralized institutions that, well, they may not always have our best interests at heart.
Precisely, and that's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
It's not just about, like a new type of money or tech. It's about shifting the balance of power, giving individuals more autonomy and control in a world where those things, they feel increasingly scarce.
Wow. Okay. That's quite the deep dive. So for our listeners, it seems like Satoshi Nakamoto's greatest creation might not have been Bitcoin itself, but this blueprint for a more decentralized future, one where individual freedom and autonomy they're embedded in the very code of our digital lives.
And the most exciting part is that we're still at the beginning.
Right.
This idea of decentralization.
Yeah.
It's still evolving, full of potential, and yes, even pitfalls.
Yeah.
It's this ongoing conversation that each of us has a stake in.
Absolutely. So listeners, if this piqued your curiosity even a little bit, keep exploring. Decentralization is this vast and fascinating world. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one to finally crack the code of Satoshi Nakamoto's true legacy. Until next time.